There's also reports here in the cemetery of Mary's ghostly figure. Other people say she was murdered. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we are here today in Warriston Cemetery in Edinburgh, and we are going to visit some interesting graves here today, and also we're going to visit the final resting place of Mary Ann. So she was known as the Red Lady. So the Robertson Mortuary Chapel was erected in 1865 for Mary Ann Manson, who passed away in 1858. The tomb was raised by her husband, General Alexander Cunningham Robertson. On her mausoleum she had a white marble shrine contained a sculpture of a female figure topped with a red ruby glass roof with glass sides, known as the Tomb of the Red Lady. Now, the sad part about this story is the tomb itself was vandalized and destroyed in the late 1970s by vandals who came in here, and it was so badly damaged they just had to take it down altogether. So all that remains here today is the effigy of Mary Ann in her final resting place. There's also reports here in the cemetery of Mary's ghostly figure sighted around the tomb. So Mary Ann died in India on the 29th of April 1858. Some say from tuberculosis while nursing her husband. Other people say she was murdered. So a beautiful cemetery here in Edinburgh. So the cemetery was owned by the private company that was formed in 1840. And after decades of neglect, Edinburgh City Council purchased the cemetery in 1994. So let's go and visit the tomb and the final resting place here of Mary Ann, or what's left of the tomb. Now, I have seen photographs of this, and it's adorned with beautiful bright flowers that people leave here. And we can see the effigy of Mary Ann. And unfortunately, her face is worn away, or maybe it was destroyed, I'm not quite sure. So you can just imagine how beautiful this tomb would have looked at the final resting place here of Mary Ann. On a warm summer's day, the sun would shine through the roof of the tomb and light up all that area in there with that ruby red colour. So another beautiful tomb destroyed by vandals, unfortunately, and I've seen this a lot on my travels. So nobody really knows the story of how she died. Some say, tuberculosis, she was murdered. Other people say she died through an accident. But that is her tomb. So this would be the older section here of the cemetery. Really nice tombs here. This is Captain John Stewart, who died in 1854, age 71, and his wife Elizabeth. So just over here we have the overgrown kind of parts. A really nice one against the wall. The burial ground of James Fortune, Edinburgh, 1843. So we'll keep going and find some more interesting ones. So you can see all these beautiful pathways here, and nature surrounding all these beautiful headstones in Warriston Cemetery. John Murray, merchant, Edinburgh, who died the 14th of July 1854, age 57. Look at this one. That beautiful urn up on top. And it's the final resting place of Eliza Jane Simpson, who died in 1857, aged 4 years and 8 months. And we have a Margaret, wife of Thomas Ford, merchant in Edinburgh, who died in 1885. So there's a couple of interesting ones in this wooded looking area. So we do see some headstones, like this one here has fallen over, but they're still fixing this place up. The County Council, the Edinburgh City Council. I don't know if I can get in there. It's very much overgrown, but hopefully we'll have a closer look. At this one. We can see the bust of the man on it there, and it's Robert Scott Lauder, historical painter, who was born in 1803 and died in 1869. Right, so I came across this beautiful cross here at this grave, and it's the grave of Horatio McCulloch, who was born in 1805 and died in 1867. But if we go around the other side of the grave here, we can actually see a little dog on it. Look at that. Sorry guys, I just catching myself in thorns. So there we can see the dog. Isn't that beautiful? And it was erected by a number of his personal friends, it says this cross here. So guys, I am just looking for a grave at the moment of Dr. James Young Simpson, a pioneer who invented, I suppose, the chloroform, the anesthetic, and also the forceps that are used to bring people into this world during childbirth. So hopefully we'll find his grave, and I'll tell you a little bit about his life and what he achieved. Our darling Bobby, R.A.B., he learned in suffering what he taught in song. So I'm taking this pathway through the overgrowth. I've just spotted a very huge pillar style grave up here, and you can just see when you look around, they seem to leave the middle parts of the cemetery kind of overgrown, and those graves, and it's like they just made those pathways for people to walk around. So look at this one here. It's at the very top of the hill. So this is Alexander Wilson, who died in 1866, aged 62 years old. And we have his son here, Alexander, who died in 1870, aged 25 years old, very young. And we also have his daughter, elder daughter, wife of John, 1919, and so on. But what a huge grave monument. So just trying to work my way in here to see this beautiful one. We have flags, and it's sacred to the memory of Andrew Knox, Drysdale, surgeon, 79th Cameron Highlanders, served throughout the Crimean War and Indian Mutiny. He died in Southampton in 1883, aged 36, and interred in Netley Hospital Cemetery. So I just found another section here of the cemetery in Warriston, and it's really beautiful. As you can see now, they look like to me like they're vaults up along there, because I do see holes in the wall, and kind of giving us clues. Like this one here is blocked up, and just up in the very corner in there we can see kind of look like vents or little windows there. So there is something in there like a mausoleum or vault. But how beautiful does that look? I would love to go in there and have a look in there. And we have a lady hiding here in the corner. This is sacred to the memory of Andrew, and the name is kind of worn, an Esquire, and his wife. So there's those holes I was talking about just there. It seems to be like a closed off area, almost like, I suppose, vaulted, and who knows, there could be coffins in there. but I ain't going to try to get up there to have a look in. And it ends just up here, so I'm going to say that that's like a catacomb area, vaults and coffins and stuff of the family members in there. So this is just a view from up top in another area. I'm still on the quest to find Dr. Simpson's grave, and this is what we can see from up here. So this is the top area of those vaulted tombs down there. We can see the roofs, and I would imagine they're not very safe when they have a fence around it here. Really big, this cemetery, and kind of just looking for unique looking ones, I suppose, ones of interest. The architecture, I suppose, and the stonework on them. And I've just spotted this one. Beneath this monument rests the mortal remains of Laura, the beloved and lamented wife of Charles Stannard Eustace, Esquire, in the county of Kildare. There we go, with an Irish connection, in Edinburgh. Youngest daughter of Christopher Thomas Tower, Esquire. So this is the first grave I've seen connected with Ireland. And what a beautiful monument it is. So I just love these shaded areas here in the trees. Gives it that nice look to it. This is sacred to the memory of Robina Liddell Carney, who died in 1937. And just actually behind the angel, this looks like a child's grave maybe. Look at that. This here is the grave of Annie Patton Spence, who passed away January 1933, aged 3 years and 3 months. Wow, just look at these ones. This is John Haywatt, Port Captain and Dock Superintendent, Table Bay, South Africa, who died October 1892, aged 58. So a port captain and dock superintendent in South Africa. Wow. Look at his grave. How beautiful is that? The 4 angels surrounding the tomb. This is William Carling, who died in 1862, aged 3 years old. And this is just left here all on its own, this urn, look at that. Right guys, so I found the grave of Dr. James Young Simpson after a long search, and up these stairs to his grave. And we can see the name on the front of it here. He was knighted, Sir James Young Simpson, born 1811 and died in 1870. So he was a pioneer of anaesthetics, physician to Queen Victoria. He also discovered the anaesthetic properties of chloroform used in surgery and childbirth. In 1866, he became the first person to be knighted for services to medicine. Obstetrical forceps, he also designed those. A physician to Queen Victoria. So we'll go a bit closer and see what it says here. There's other family members who are interred. So we can see a Maggie Grindlay Simpson, who died in 1844, aged 3 years old. Mary Catherine, aged 2 years old. A James Simpson, aged 15. So very, very young people who died in this family. Yeah, so that's the man really who designed the forceps. I think it was the longer version forceps. Another nice grave here. This is John Rind, sculptor, who died April 1892, aged 63. Catherine, his wife, died in 1887. Look at those steps that lead you up to another area in the cemetery here. We're just down here on the left. We have this beautiful bridge structure in the cemetery. Look at that. Like the entranceway into a castle. Really nice. Look at this one here. It's a drain that has filled up with water here. And then you have this grave monument has fallen over. And the water is actually coming from all the way down along there, like a stream. James Grant is the name on it. Sad to see that the grave monument has fallen into the water. Right guys, that's it from me at Warriston Cemetery here in Edinburgh. Really interesting old place and graves. So if you like this video, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free to subscribe. Give the video a big thumbs up, and I'll talk to you all on the next one.